to ask you this. Just as a kid from Sault Ste. Marie, what the heck was it like being on the Ed Sullivan Show?
Well, I remember Randy told me a story about them coming to the East to be on one of those shows. You worked 7 days a week for that show. He started your rehearsals Monday a.m. very early, 6:30, 7 o'clock. You showed up at the CBS studio. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday evening, they would do a complete show with an audience, not televised. It would be like a run-through. And then Sunday would be the live performance. See, what people don't know is that Ed Sullivan was a columnist before he was a television personality. And in those days, the columns are where you got your advertising, your promotion, your publicity. Walter Winchell was a good example. In other words, you get on the newspaper column and people know about you. Well, CBS asked him to do a variety show. But unlike, television shows now, which just pay you union scale, they paid you your entire fee for a concert.
Really?
Yes. So in other words, when you were on there, whatever your price was, you got that price. Because they would give him however many $100,000 to do a show. He would rent, hire, just like we were working. So it was lucrative. There's a lot of work. But you see that the interesting thing about it, and you can relate to this, is you did 7 days of work for 2 minutes of airtime.
Right.
Now, we're used to working like an hour or 2 hours or maybe more on stage. So you have all that energy pent up for the big show and you use 2 minutes. Yeah. So Eddie used to come home and wreck our apartment because he had all this, because we used to, you don't even turn on your amp at 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no kidding.
It's not even warmed up the tubes, So, but it was interesting because, see, it was live, but it was really live in that, when he made a mistake, everybody had to scurry to make up that time. Because what he would do, he would see somebody he knew in the audience and, he would not stop what he was supposed to do. He would continue talking to the person in the audience. Well, now somebody back there has to make up that time.
Right.
And that caused a little bit of tension backstage.
Wow.
It was
I remember hearing that the Beatles, basically he got the Beatles for nothing. I think that was the deal. Brian Epstein said, I want them to open and close the show 2 weeks in a row.
Well, I'm sure basically they made a good deal there, because, we all got paid,
Wow.
It was interesting. Well, look, I mean, you're coming from England and you want to take over the United States market. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But so you rehearsed every day, like basically stage blocking, all this sort of stuff. And I'm just, so every day you're there all day.
No, we didn't have to stay all day, but, you got there early in the morning and then you got your time slot. And see, the thing is that coming from a different generation, which he did, he really didn't cater to the musicians. He was more in tune with like the comedians and, the people that were from his age group. And I had to kind of put my foot down once after the third time we did the show and say, hey, wait a second. Now, aren't you using our name for the headline of this show? Then how come we got the worst dressing room in the house? You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. Let's treat us right because, he looked at us like, not in the same sense that he would look at Buddy Hackett, or the people that, even that little mouse, Topo Gigio, you know what I'm saying? So you had to kind of say, look, this is an older man, I understand, but the hell with him. We're going to get the dressing room.
Right.
So we all just crunched into a little tiny corner, and the comedians got like this palace, wait a second, time out, yeah.
Well, we did a show. We did a taping at the Roseland Ballroom, which was right across from the Ed Sullivan Theater there, and just back in 2010 again, I believe. And so we got, because that street is almost like an alley; it's so narrow. So we went back and forth, and we were hanging out with David Letterman's crowd. That was before the Stephen Colbert takeover, and so And then we ended up getting invited to watch a taping of Letterman, which was fantastic. I love that. So here I am in that same theater where the Beatles were. And of course, that's that magic thing. Now, you've been there since then, I imagine. They've made it smaller. It's not as, the Ed Sullivan Theater was bigger than the David Letterman Theater, let's say, right, for seats?
Oh, they had to redo the whole place. See, they abandoned that place for quite a few years. In between the Ed Sullivan and I think the David Letterman show was the next people to use it. It was terrible. It was like abandoned property. It was like musty and dirty, and they redid that whole place.
Oh,
It was brand new. Oh yeah, well, it was very funky, man. I guess they owned it, CBS. They knew it was valuable in terms of usage, but nobody was using it. I wonder how many years. It was quite a few years.
yeah. Well, I mean, Letterman didn't get into that theater till, gosh, the 90s.
Exactly.
So, because he was on NBC with the late night with David Letterman until he switched over to CBS. Yeah, so
It was abandoned, and they did something there. I remember going there. They and it was. And you've been in places like that have been abandoned. You know what that feels like. It was really funky. But they had a great idea. Say, well, we're going to sign David, to this CBS late night, and we're going to redo the entire theater, and they did.
We were asked to do the campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. It was a movie, about two congressmen, going for election. And of course, Will Ferrell's character, his theme song or his theme was Taking Care of Business.
Right.
So that's why we were there. So we went into one of those theaters in New Orleans. This is where it was shot. And that theater, I don't know when they had used it the last time, but it was cold and dank. Oh my God. And we were there from about 7 a.m. until about 7 p.m. And when the movie came out, I'm sitting there looking, and it was like, whew, we were gone. It was that fast.
Yeah.
Amazing how long that takes.
Well, movies, yeah, they take a long time. And
Yeah.
It's so interesting what you say about theaters because, as we travel, they do these theaters over, they redo them. However, they don't do the dressing rooms. They just do the front house.
I know.
The back is as bad as it was in 19th century,
Hey, thanks for joining us. Check out our other vignettes and full episodes from a wide variety of guests for more great content. Please like, share, and subscribe, and become a member at SocialNRGpresents.com to access premium content and earn valuable energy points just for watching.